Hey, so this is going to be my tutorial on running PCA using SAS or SAS. So we're going to get started. I'm going to make the assumption that uh, you're running this from one of the school computers that has SAS installed on it. That's the easiest way to do it. Or you can log into the school computer from your home computer using a virtual network. I can make a tutorial to do that if needed. So anyways, we'll assume you're starting from a screen similar to this. This is the blank screen you get when you log in with the school computer. So to start SAS, we're going to go to the bottom left of the screen with the start button. We'll left click that. Right above the start button where we click, you see a little text box that says search programs and files. We're going to want to left click there. You can see my cursor on the bottom left of the screen. I'll left click here and we'll type SAS. And that'll automatically look for any programs that have SAS or say SAS. So we want to open sas.exe or sas.exe. We'll left click that once, and then we'll wait. This little dialog box will come up. We don't really need to pay attention to that. Let's close it. We'll left click the close button. And so this is our SAS screen. First I'll explain some things. The bottom is where we need to concern ourselves right now. The editor. That's where we're going to put in our code and our data to run the PCA. So we can control which screen we want to see using these three buttons down here. We have the editor on the right, log in the middle, and output in the left. We don't need to worry about the output right now because that's blank. We have the log, and it shows the log and the editor simultaneously, so that's fine. We haven't really done anything yet, so we don't really need to see too much of the log. So let's expand our editor window so we have more access to it. It's easier to use. So let's go up to the top of the top border of the editor window, and when the arrow turns into a double-sided arrow, we don't need to click on anything, it'll do it automatically. Turn to a double-sided arrow, we'll left click, hold it down, and then drag up, and that'll expand the window so we can work easier, have more view. Okay, so let's get our code into SAS or SAS. I made a file with our code template and with the data we'll be using for this example. You should have the files handy. The first one will open up this Word document, PCA data and code template. Double click that. So this is the code I made, or the code template that I made. And I can see that for some, it did not save. Well, it's not how I want it to be, but when you get it, it'll be right. So let me make these changes real quick. Just ignore what I'm doing right now. I already made a 20-minute video, and the SAS ran incorrectly, and I had an error, so I had to start all over again because I entered the code in wrong. It's not a very forgiving program, so you want to make sure your code is right. So first thing we'll do, we want to select all this code and paste it into SAS. So move your cursor to the left of the option, or the word, the word option. We'll put it to the very left of that. Hold down your left mouse button. Hold down your left mouse button and then drag it. You're holding down the mouse button the whole time. You're dragging it down to the end of the semicolon. Let go of the mouse and it'll select all this stuff. So then what we want to do is copy it. So let's right click. We just need to right click once and the box will pop up. Go up to copy. Left click this and it's copied. That's all we need to do. So let's minimize this. Now we have our editor open. Now all we need to do is we need to right click once, go down to paste, and then left click. And that pastes our code. Let's just paste our code in SAS and ready to go. Now we need to put in our data, and then we need to edit the code so it matches the data. Otherwise it won't run and it'll be all a big mess. So let's open up our data. In this case, we have some fake data for orange juice descriptive analysis. I already put it into Excel. Now notice the format that it's in. It has to be in this format or else it won't work in PCA or SAS. You have your orange juice in the left column, and we have 10 different orange juices. Matched up with each orange juice is a mean rating for the attribute of that orange juice. So we have 7 attributes here: fresh, cooked, peel, sweet, and so on. And we have the average ratings for each orange juice. So you need to set up your table exactly like this. We have our 10 orange juices, and we have 7 different ratings for each orange juice. So now we need to select this table and copy it and paste it in the SAS into our code, in the right place in our code. So before we get ahead of ourselves, let's copy this. Now, don't do what I did before and copy the head too. We don't need this top part. We just need the data. We can only put the data in. If you put in any more or any less than just the data, you'll get an error and it won't work. So what we want to do is left click once on the 1, and we'll left click and hold down the button and drag it to the very bottom right to this 4.8. So now we only have the data selected. We'll right click once, go up to copy, left click copy. So now it's copied and we can paste it into our code. Minimize this. We'll go to our editor. Now we want to put the code in between the 2 semicolons after cards. So we see the line with the word cards on it, and we see the 1 semicolon, and we have this blank space and then another semicolon. We want to put the data in between these 2 semicolons. So with this line, this blank line selected, we'll right click, go down to paste, left click paste, and it puts our data right there. That's all we need to do. So our data's in. Now we need to change the code to reflect our data, and so everything looks good and we know what we're working with. So for the data, we want to name it according to our stimuli. So in this case, we're using orange juice, so let's name it OJ. Now we have our title. We need to change the title, so let's say PCA for orange juice. So we have our input, the next line down. Notice this says stimulis, and I realize the word stimuli is plural for stimulus, but you know, you'll see why I did that in a second here. So anyways, it says stimulis. We need to get rid of the word stimuli, and we'll put OJs to stand for orange juices. Just the plural of our data. We don't want it to be the same as the same word that we use for data. So in this case, we use OJs with an S. Then we have our attributes, attribute 1, attribute 2, and so on. We need to change these so they're our real attributes, so they match our attributes, so we know what we're looking at. It makes things easier when we're decoding our data. So attribute 1 will correspond to, let me pull up our Excel file. So I'm going to put this to the side so I can see both and change it at the same time. Oops. Sorry for the lag, it's kind of doing this virtually is kind of slow. So I'm at home right now working on the school computer online. So anyways, attribute 1 is fresh. So let's change that here. Attribute 2 is cooked. Notice I'm just deleting the word attribute 2, attribute 3, and so on, and replacing it with the attribute. So attribute 3 was peel. Attribute 4 is sweet. Attribute 5, sour. Attribute 6 is pulp. And attribute 7 is thick. Okay. So now we need to go through the rest of the code and make sure everything is right. Make sure everything matches up. Everything has to match with anything done previously. So for example, if you want to write OJ again, it has to be the same case, it has to be all lowercase and so on. So let's look for all capital words. Those are words that we need to change. So in this line we have stimuli in all caps, so we need to change that to OJ. Oops. Now you see where this n equals 8? That's very important. We need to pay attention to that. That value is determined by how many attributes you have. So in this case we have 7 attributes, so the n value will always be 1 greater than the number of attributes you have. So in this case we have 7 attributes, so n equals 8. If you add 10 attributes, then n would equal 11. But in this case n is equal to 8. So we have these variables down here. Attribute 1, attribute 2, attribute 3, and so on. Once again, you need to change these to the attributes that were used for descriptive analysis. So let's get rid of these. I'm going to show the shortcut way to do it. Go up to fresh, click to the very left of fresh, hold down your left mouse button and then drag it to the end of pick. Do not select the semicolon, just go to the end of pick. So with these words selected, then you can right click and hit and go down to copy. Now let's go down to these attribute words. Now we're going to do the same thing with this. Let's left click to the left of attribute 1, drag it all the way to the end of attribute 7. Now this time we're going to right click once. Instead of going to copy, we're going to go to paste. And it's going to replace all that real easy. So then we don't have to type all this stuff out again. Next line down, we have another stimuli. Let's change it to OJ. And then we need to change these attributes to the same thing we did above. So we have those words already in our text, or already copied, so we just need to right click again, or select it and then right click and go down to paste again, and I'll put it right in there. So next line down, we're good, don't need to do anything. Next line down, we're good, don't need to do anything. Next line down, we have another stimuli's with an S, so we need to change that to OJ's with an S. OJ's. Here we have another stimuli's. Let's change that to OJ's again. And there we go. That's it. That's all we need to do. Our code is good to go. So once you have your code entered in to your liking, you need to go to the top. Well, nearly to the top. On this taskbar, you have a couple buttons. The one you need to concern yourself with is the one with the little guy looking like he's running. If you leave your mouse over that button for a little bit, you can see the box pop up that says submit. So left click that once and it will run our PCA. And we'll find out if this works. So it's running. Okay. So it gave me these results right here. This is the results viewer box. We shouldn't even look at this right now because we need to check the log first to make sure this ran correctly. So go down here with these windows. You have these 4 different little boxes. We want to look at the log right here. So left click the log. So I'm going to scroll up this log and see if there's any warnings or errors or anything. It usually be in green text, or you'll see big, error in all caps. And it looks like everything is good. There's no errors. You'd see green text or errors, but nope, we don't have anything, so we're good to go. Cool. So now we go back to our results viewer. Left click that. Now we can look at our results. It spits out a bunch of these results. Here we go, all this stuff. So we'll want to save this to PDF. And then we can, once I save it to PDF, I'll do that, and then that'll be the end of this first video. In the next video, I'll show you how to finally get your full PCA using Excel. So let's save this. Let's save these results. So once it's here, go up to File, go down to Save As, left click. Now I'm just going to save it to our desktop. So up to the desktop, left click Desktop. I don't want to save it as whatever this is. I want to save it as a PDF. So we'll go down to this arrow, left click the arrow, and it's not letting me do that. So why is it not letting me do that? Let's see. Okay, I'm going to cancel that. Just ignore the last minute I was talking about. I remember how I was supposed to do this. So we'll go to File and go down to Print, and we're going to print it as a PDF. So left click Print. So we're going to select a printer that says Adobe PDF right here. Just left click it so it's highlighted. And then what you're going to do is you're going to click Print, and it'll print that as a PDF. So let's select the location where we want it to be. Let's just have it on our desktop. That's perfect. Save it. PCA, OJ, PDF, left click Save. So it's creating it, and there we go. So now we have this PDF with our results. So that's it for now. I'm going to make another video soon showing how we can take the information from these results and make it into a nice looking PCA graph on Excel. And that's it for now.